I suppose it's another inmendham video because I really don't want to do the nihilism discussion on the Ethelist channel because it really doesn't have anything to do with the truth or rationality or anything. It's a conversation with imbeciles. Yeah, just it shouldn't even be dignified as subject. It's so stupid. But anyway, speaking of, alright, so Metamorph is back from the dead, and I don't mean that too flippantly, but he's literally almost dead, and now he's okay again, which is good, fine, but, I'm sorry, I just can't root for this guy, like in some kind of serious rooting for way, like, vote for him, or, like, it's like Donald Trump, I don't hope he gets eaten by crocodiles, but I can't wish him any luck. Anyway. So he's made a stupid video. Carla Della Stella on significance. She should have more views. She's so insightful. She's an imbecile. She's a fucking religious kook. She's basically incomprehensible as someone who espousing a theory of what? Ultimate contradiction? Anyway, so, he's doing a video basically supporting Carla in her effort to talk absolute bibble-babble. And, hawking his new book, which in the comments he's described as self-indulgent. Oh, like the first book on antinatalism, which had a lovely poem in the beginning and basically just told a story about, hey, look what a fucktard I was. This is my life, fucktarding. Yeah, that's why life is stupid, is because obviously it's fucktarded, because I fucktarded it all to hell. Okay, that's a nice thing to say, is look, I tried to live a normal, a sensible life, and look how preposterous it came out. So yeah, it's a good antinatalist argument in a way, but it's not really a rational, disciplined argument in any kind of sense. Just some personal narrative. Fine. Lovely. I once in a while indulge in personal narrative. But I'm not going to label it what it's not, which is some sort of philosophical document. Anyway. So, if he didn't call the first book self-indulgent and is calling this one self-indulgent, I don't know what the fuck it could possibly be about. Me and my anus. All the places we have farted. Maybe that's what it's going to be. It's called Beyond Antinatalism, so I imagine it has to have something to do with farting. I mean, what could be beyond antinatalism? The recognition that life is futile and unproductive and stupid. Yeah, well, there's lots of stuff after that. Like Legos. Right? So I'm going to play a little clip here. And this is just so, it's not even like these people can't get 2 + 2 is 4. They can't get 1 + 1 is 2. They can't get 1. They can't. They can't figure out 1. They're just fucked. Yeah. Anyway. So I'll play the bit and then I will opine for 10 minutes. Well, I'll extrapolate. And what the fuck does that mean, retard? That's what I'll do. And, well, he's already whining in the comments section about, somebody didn't even make an insulting comment. They just basically said Carla Della Stella's got the intellectual capacity of a 5-year-old, which isn't a terrible insult. And he got all butthurt about that. Fuck. If this is the face of antinatalism, fuck it. It's retarded. So yeah, I'm 100% Ethelist, and I'll I'll declare who could be an Ephelist, okay? I'll be the king of Ephelism. And yeah, if you don't meet these little standards, fuck you, you're not an Ephelist. You're not allowed to be one. Because this is just a perversion of reality to sit there and say, I have a philosophical idea about the sensibility or rationality or reasonableness about procreation, yet it's completely just subjective nonsense that I would like to convince you of. I'd like you to convince you to root for my baseball team, because my baseball team is super cool. I'm on team no have kids. Not for any good reason, I was just born there. I didn't rationally draw any conclusions based on evidence. No, it just all of a sudden appeared like a wart on my anus. Oh, fuck.
So there was the back and forth in the comment section where we interacted a little bit. There was...
Yeah, so he just finds it so charming interacting with a religious kook who can't get a single conceptual perception of what anybody else is saying correct ever. Oh, right.
One point of the conversation I wanted to zoom...
Sorry, I have to lower this volume apparently. Sorry, I'm still really quite deaf. So, sorry about that.
...zoom in on today, which was her contention that eternity nullifies any significance that suffering might otherwise have. Which on one hand I disagree with wholeheartedly.
So he disagrees wholeheartedly that the meaning of suffering is negated by eternity. He thinks the meaning of suffering is negated by nihilism. And we should care about what people are using as an excuse to negate the meaning of suffering, right? I mean, it really just doesn't make any sense, right? He's bitching because she's negating the meaning of suffering by some preposterous thing like eternity, and he's going to use the excuse that suffering is negated because I already negated it by saying it doesn't exist as a meaningful qualitative thing that's happening. It doesn't have any real components of significance. There's nothing to see here because I, Metamorph, say so.
But since I'm not a value realist,
Okay, I'm not a value realist, right? So why the fuck you're going to argue with a lunatic about something you agree with her on, which is that suffering doesn't matter, and you're saying, but she's thinking it doesn't matter for the wrong reason. I mean, this really is stupid. I mean, I think there's a reason to argue with vegetarians who are vegetarian for personal interest versus vegetarian to prevent animals from being harmed. I think there's a reason to make that distinction. But this distinction? Why the fuck would I waste my time arguing with somebody who basically agrees with me about the annihilation of something's existence? I mean, we're talking about the annihilation of its existence. So why the fuck would I have any... Why would I care why they're annihilating its existence? Fuck. As I've stated, the important thing about vegetarianism is recognizing the fact that this is bad, this suffering thing. It's not because you're going to fix something real. You're just acknowledging it's evidence that you're willing to acknowledge a principle and to actually invest in that principle. That's all it's an acknowledgement of, because we know most of the suffering is not in slaughterhouses. Most of the suffering is in nature. Fuck. Anyway. So let's just play with this. I'm not a value realist, right? That's what he said, right? Let me just make sure that's what he said.
Today, which was her contention that eternity nullifies any significance that suffering might otherwise have, which on one hand I disagree with wholeheartedly, but since I'm not a value realist, I also realize that what she deems significant in the values arena, if indeed anything, is just as valid to her as what I deem to be significant is valid to me. So my disagreement is a subjective one, I guess, the same as if we were arguing about the best pizza.
There we go, the best pizza toppings. So he's equating your maybe perhaps you have recognized that there's some pretty significant difference between having a good time and having a bad time. Dying of cancer and eating a cupcake, sticking a thermometer in your anus and sticking a thermometer in your eyeball. You notice the difference, and you think the difference is significant. Yes, the experience you will have, they're significantly different experiences. He's saying there's no significant difference. Same difference. Stick the thermometer in your ass, stick the thermometer in your eyeball. Same thing. One might give you a little bit of a boner. The other will just have you screaming and yelling and having a really bad time. But same thing. Difference without a distinction. No distinction. You're being fooled. Yes, I mean, pain and misery and torment and torture. Yeah, it quacks like it means something. And it has feathers like it means something. It has little webbed feet like it means something. It has the genetic code of something that means something. It has every fucking element that would qualify it as significant. Yet, it's not. And how do we know it's not? Because Metamorph says so. It's not some kind of logical reason to think it's nothing. I could just smash my kneecap with a hammer right now. I could go, I have 35 hammers. I could just go get one of my 35 hammers. I probably have 56 hammers now. Yeah, probably. And give my kneecap a good whapping. No significant thing has taken place. It's just like a Coke can. Coke can, screaming pain from shattered kneecap. Same thing. Difference without a distinction. A significant distinction. No reality of importance. Nothing. It's all nothing. Why would I believe that? I'm just saying, I've never in my entire life had any doubt that suffering does in fact suck. The sensation that is the definition of a suffering sensation, this unpleasantness, by definition, is bad. It can't possibly be good. If it's good, then it's not suffering. If I'm enjoying it, it's not suffering. Suffering is bad. The sensations of this negative value is bad. There's no other way to see it. I can't. You're just saying it. You're saying to me, it's nothing, Gary. Trust me. Why? Why should I trust you? That sounds insane. You're quacking like a kook, and you have feathers like a kook. You're babbling like a kook. What the fuck is that shit? Where do I find this reason to negate the existence of sensation, and that the feature of sensation is its qualitative element that you're saying doesn't exist meaningfully? There is no qualitative element, says you. There's no way to do this without being mocking. There's no way to do this without being insulting to you, because this is insulting to me. You're insulting my fucking intelligence by telling me you're just pepperoni. You're one of those pepperoni people. Because I'm defending the idea that suffering be bad. By its very function, by its very nature, it is intrinsically the sensations, the negative sensations are, by their very function, by their very existence, in their very configuration, they just happen to produce this value negative. And you're saying that's an illusion of some kind but I don't have any reason to, I don't have any evidence or way to explain that to you except that I believe it. You believe it's somehow nothing. And you're arguing that I'm a suffering bigot, that I just happen to like pepperoni, and therefore I'm just defending pepperoni because I grew up on pepperoni. No. Every sentient organism, this is how it functions. The very definition of sentient is to feel. And feelings by their, again, by definition, feelings are not all the same. They're different feelings, and they're qualitatively different. It's not a subjective thing. It's an absolute fact of conscious existence. It's in the nature of sensation. It's really happening. It's not really happening. No, it's really happening. It's a real event, sensation. Yes, it's unique in the universe as far as we know. There's nothing else doing it quite like us. And I think that's can be stated as a fact. Yeah, it's the only one of its kind. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Yes, it's different than everything else that is subjectively understood as meaningless, as bullshit, as who cares. Alright, so let's say I made a pizza topping that tasted like everything. Whatever your favorite food is, it tasted just like that. So whatever your favorite pizza topping is, it would taste like your favorite topping. So no matter who I gave it to, it would taste like their favorite topping. And the bonus would be, it makes you immune to all disease, and it causes instant healing. So any injury just instantly heals. And it gives you an 11-inch dick. Now, and I make another topping that gives you double AIDS and a brain tumor and inverts your penis. Now, I think I can make an argument that one of those toppings is better, objectively, factually, absolutely, than the other topping. I think I could do that. And it wouldn't be a subjective argument. It would be a rational argument. So let's go through this subjective thing again. Subjective is like, I love my parents. I think my parents are super cool. Now, that's a bigotry, okay? Just because I have an attachment to my parents. Like my cat is better than your cat because it's my cat. That's subjective. That's a bigotry. That has to do with not rational perception, but irrational emotional attachment. That's a subjective argument. Arguing that cats feel and that cats have sensation is not subjective. Arguing that human beings in general are precious things, precious commodities, having precious experiences, is different than arguing my parents are special because they have feelings and experiences that are meaningful to me. That would be a different kind of argument. The fact that we feel, the fact that our feelings have qualitative reality, they are different qualitatively. Suffering is in fact different in a significant way from fun. Fun and suffering, torture and pleasure are not the same thing, and they're not the same thing because of a very important difference. That's a fact. It's not a subjective opinion. It's a fucking fact. Now, what else needs to be said? Yes, it's a reasoned argument. And so I just go back to the simple fact of it. I've personally experienced it. I've tasted it. I know it through experience. It quacks like the duck. If I was to make something called value, if I was to imagine what it would be, this is what it would be. Value would be in this form. This is the only form value could possibly be in. There's no other form I could imagine value being than to create something called negative experience and positive experience. There's no other way to possibly imagine the creation of value. I can't imagine it. It is, if you were going to make something called value currency, value money, value commodity, a real kind of gold, this is what you would make. Experience, feelings. And that's what nature synthesized, because it needed to make value perception to make us chase what it wanted to assign value to. It's not that our wants are intrinsically valuable, the things we want, but it did make an intrinsically valuable value engine. The value engine is intrinsically valuable. The capacity to feel is intrinsically, fundamentally, by its very creation, valuable. It quacks like the duck, it has feathers, it has web feet, it has a bill, it has the genetic code, it has the right parasites in its shit. It fits every fricking necessary characteristic of something value rich. And there's absolutely no reason provided by these nihilist kooks to believe the overt, consuming experience of it is not significantly real, not significantly actual, not what it seems by every piece of evidence to be. And I'm supposed to believe it's not all that because they say so. That's it. There's no other reason. They say so. So anyway, the very idea of some asshole who says he's not a value realist, and then he is arguing with people about which they should value, or implying that they are missing some value. It's like him saying, well, that's annoying. See how long it rings. Who the fuck would call me? Hello? Hello? Well, fuck you very much. Asshole. Get cancer and die and such. Anyway, just kept saying hello. Hello? I said hello. I got him with that one, didn't I? Oh, God, the internet is so fucking stupid. I mean, really, you people are stupid. I mean, I should read the comments. I mean, I post a physics video, and all the comments are totally irrelevant to the physics, except for one, and it's also irrelevant and obtuse and not even close to meaningful to what I was saying. And that's it. Not one useful comment. I mean, God, people are stupid. Fuck! I'm going to write a self-indulgent book about life beyond antinatalism. And I'll put a spermiozolia impregnating an egg on the cover for some reason. So it's kind of like a thermometer in your eyeball. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Go ahead, stick a thermometer in your eyeball. It doesn't mean anything. Totally irrelevant. Meaningless. Meaningless happening. Meaningless happening. Well, anyway, so this asshole he says it's pizza toppings, and then he goes on talking about how pepperoni's really cool. You got to know that pepperoni's really cool. Just think about every time you had pepperoni, it's really cool. Oh, pepperoni's really cool, bro. He's trying to convince somebody to join its pepperoni club, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, asshole? You just negated its existence. You basically conceded it doesn't mean anything, and now you're gonna waste time arguing with somebody about meaninglessness. I mean, fuck. Sorry. Fuck. And I personally take it as offensive, because obviously I think this is the most meaningful thing in the universe and all that kind of crap, and this is just so fucking insulting to the dignity of anyone who has ever suffered. And this is the joke of this whole thing, right? This guy has not lived a fun life. And he's sitting there mocking suffering, essentially. Mocking people who take it seriously. He's mocking you. It's not real. You've been fooled. There's no real value. There's no real value to your suffering. It doesn't really mean anything. And I'm not supposed to be offended or find that so fucking obnoxiously putrid. And now I'm going to write a self-indulgent book on fucking life after life. So we eradicate life and then... Oh yeah, he doesn't even get the eradicating life thing. He's not a vegetarian, so right, this guy didn't get the subject from the very beginning. He doesn't know shit about evolution, doesn't really understand crap about context. Well, clearly he doesn't understand crap. He can't get the one right. Suffering be bad. He can't get that right. Fucking retard. So yeah, oh, here, I'll read his little preach to just another YouTuber. She has arguments of a 5-year-old. So that's not terribly... I mean, it's just a fact. Yeah, and the asshole's commenting on here, you know, Emmanuel Sinclair, that's that fucking whatever, that crazy Muslim nut. Or Buddha Muzz. Muzza Buddhist. Whatever the fuck he is. Philosophical asswipe. Oh, I'm all emotional about it. But that's all. No rational arguments to be made, except my emotional ones. I'm just going to tell you what, you know, makes my anus twitch. Like, you're interested, aren't you? No. Anyway. Flygora, thanks for the support on Twitter. Welcome back. Yeah, well, welcome back. Another nihilist to play with. Oh, fun. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Fucking idiots. So anyway, let's just do this. His response to the just another crazy doomed person. Hiya, long time. I've just seen bits and pieces of Carla's spiritual beliefs. Yeah, well, that's all she shows of that shit. But you've seen her other videos, no doubt, where she makes these obnoxious straw man arguments, and you think they're good videos. Yeah, whatever. And I find them fascinating. He finds voodoo fascinating. Oh, it's just so fascinating. Voodoo and astrology and that whole step on a crack, break your mother's back. Oh, that's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. Let's smear some lamb's blood on the doorway and it'll make us immune to the boogeyman. Ooh, I find that so fascinating. Fuck. A mixture of Jesus and Tippler, I don't know what the fuck that is, with little pee-pee-pee-pee thrown in. Who the fuck could possibly care? Yeah, that's right. Bibble, babble, gobbledygook, mishy, mush, juvenile nonsense. Superstitious, crazy, motherfucking cunt nonsense. And he finds it fascinating. The evolution of religious belief is a big interest of mine. It's not really evolving, asshole. That's kind of the nature of religion. It doesn't do any real evolving. It's just a dogmatic pile of crap that just festers and gets putrefied over time. Also, I'd just like to note that I prefer everyone eschew personal attacks as well as they're able. It's a personal attack to describe her inane, juvenile, immature, silly, superstitious philosophy as being inane, juvenile, superstitious mush. That's not something we can do. You're not allowed to describe it accurately, including incendiary language. 5-year-old. Blah! I'll try to do the same. Well, fuck you. Try to not to do the same, actually. Try to make a rational argument defending this fucking pussy bullshit, this fucking evasive nonsense. I'm going to talk about my subjective preferences, what I like to eat, and what I like to, I like to go bowling, and, yeah, so I'm going to do some bowling videos. And go ahead and explain to me why I should give a fuck, why I should watch your bowling videos. Why don't you give me the rational argument why I should watch your bowling videos? Now you had to add some more. I should probably expand on this a bit. I'm just sick of the put-downs that seem to dominate this corner of the medium. You haven't watched the political news much, have you? That corner has a lot of put-downs too. Yeah, put-downs are just part of the fucking being on Earth, okay? It's like those, whatever, those fucking towel heads over there in Crazy Land. Yeah, we use put-downs to say, gee, what a bunch of boogers. What a bunch of smelly little fucking loose turds. Ooh, smelly pukey puke. That's right, they're just buckets of fucking puke. And so that's a put-down, that's right, because they're shit. Shit should be described as the shit it is. And you're a shit for brain because you can't figure out one. Oh, missed that one. So can't do 1 + 1. Obviously can't do 2 + 2 because I can't get 1 right. Of course, none of us are immune to the dark side of anonymous worldwide. I'm not being an anonymous motherfucker. I want you to know that I think you're being insipidly duplicitous to sit there and make arguments on the internet about what people should do or how they should think or what seems right to you when you don't think it goddamn matters, when you don't think there's an actual factual value at stake, where you think it's absolutely the same motherfucking thing, okay, as a fact, as an absolute motherfucking fact. It's absolutely a fact that if everybody got a brain tumor and died suffering horribly, it'd be the same thing as if I baked them all lovely cupcakes. That's your philosophy, fuck for brain. And I'm sorry, that's a fucked brain. But at some point you've got to ask yourself, am I growing here? What do you expect to be growing into, jackass? I mean, you're fucking 968 years old. You can't figure out 1. You can't even grow enough to get 1 right. But there really isn't any growing. There's just getting the crap out of your brain. The lies and the bullshit that all these fucking idiots throw into people's goddamn heads. Like you. Some idiot says, there's a God over there behind that tree. And then some other idiot says, hey, guess what? Your feelings aren't made out of metal, therefore they don't exist. Because they're not made out of metal. Fuck you! But at some point, yeah, am I growing here? I'm so sick of this growing shit. I don't need to grow, fucker. I could figure out the 1, and then I could do the 2 + 2, and then I could do the 3 + 4, and then I could do the 9 + 17. I could figure out all of those fuckers. So I don't need to do any fucking growing, jackass. This is my Is my precipitance becoming more expansive, or am I stagnating in my own posturing? Well, I'd argue that you're festering in your own preposterous ignorance, because you can't figure out that suffering actually, for realsy, sucks. Anyway, my little spiel of the morning. Yes, it's all just a little spiel, isn't it? Torture. It's just a spiely kind of subject. Let's just spiel on that. Let's just spiel on torture. Let's have some spiely. Let's have a spiely-thon. Let's have a circle spiel. Fuck. You and such. So that will be all. Obviously, I just disassociate myself from emotional antinatalists, subjective antinatalists. If you're not absolutely sure suffering sucks and that it's absolutely wrong to impose it unnecessarily or without compensating unsuck, then fucky youey till completely annihilized. Yeah, get annihilized, just like the value you've destroyed with your putrid, silly, fucktarded Nietzschean rhetoric. Yeah. Happy trails till next time. Yeah, we're done. That's enough. Ugh. Ugh. God, I hate these people. I mean, they're stupid, but I mean, this is fuck-tarded. Stupid cubed.